If you find yourself waking up very stiff in the mornings, then in today's video, I'm going to show you how to fix it. If you don't know who I am, my name is Harlow and I'm the Over-Fifties specialist physio here at HT Physio in Farnham. And today I'm going to be giving you a 10-minute gentle mobility routine that you can do every morning. Now, morning stiffness is really common. It can be caused by arthritis or other injuries. Many of the people who I treat in the clinic tell me that the morning is just the worst time for them and it takes them half an hour to an hour to loosen up. Well, the good news is we can speed that process up significantly if we know what we're doing first thing. So I'm going to give you this 10-minute routine you can do before you get up and get moving. It can be done from your bed. It's totally safe for most people, but it isn't going to be suitable for everyone. So make sure you get checked out before you give it a go. If it causes you pain, just avoid the exercises that do and don't do it against the advice of your doctor. Anyway, let's have a look at the exercises now. So now we're going to go through a 10-minute morning mobility routine for the whole body. So this is a great routine to do in bed. So I'm going to do it on my bed here, not the one I sleep in, just the one I use at work. And obviously what we're going to try and do is work the entire body to get you more mobile so you have less stiffness as a result. So the first thing we're going to do is called the supine Y lifts. And I love this exercise for shoulder and thoracic mobility. So we're going to keep our head relaxed on the pillow like this, and we're going to take our arms into a W shape, or as close to a W shape as you can. So you've got your arms are rested against the bed, and you're just going to allow your thumbs to rotate back towards the bed like this on both sides. You're going to keep a nice flat back here, so flatten your back down into the bed, and then lift the arms up above your shoulders like this. And then bring yourself back down to the W shape. So basically we're going from a W to a Y. And what we should feel happening as we lift the arms is the shoulder blades should rotate down as we come down like this, and they should rotate up as we slide up. And we shouldn't be getting any help from the lower back. The lower back should stay perfectly straight. We should just feel like it's the shoulders and the mid-back obviously having to settle as well to allow us to do the lifting. And I would recommend doing about 10 of these in a row, nice and slow throughout. And once you've done your 10, you're just going to rest for 30 seconds and then do another 10. So we're going to come back into that position, take the arms out to the sides, rotate back to the W, keep the back flat and lift. So we're lifting the arms up into a Y, and then bringing back down into a W like this. Now the whole time through this exercise, I'm keeping my head relaxed on the pillow. I'm trying not to allow it to lift, so we shouldn't be getting any pain in our neck or in our shoulders at all. It should just be happening from the arms. And then bring back down to rest. Again, we're going to do 10 repetitions in a row, have a little rest, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. Before we go any further, I just want to tell you about 3-Tip Friday. 3-Tip Friday is my weekly email that I send out to my list, and it features 3 of the most interesting things I've found that week. It could be a health tip, it could be a piece of research I'm reading, or it could be a new tool that I've found to be really useful for helping people get more mobile. It's totally free. I just send it out once a week. There's no annoying promos inside, and you can sign up for it by going down below this video and entering your email in the 3-Tip Friday link. So the next thing we're going to do is called knees up, knee rolls, and this is a great exercise for basically the entire spine to start to get it rotating in the morning to try and relax the area so you have less stiffness. So the basic knee roll, which is the one that you could start with if you can't do the knees up version, is to bring your knees down to one side and then roll over to the other side. And this is a really nice way to just get you warm. So we're just going to start here and do a few to each direction. Now I don't like to be too strict with this. I like to allow the pelvis and the back to lift as I do it, because the higher the pelvis lifts, the higher up the spine the rotation happens. So you can start to get rotation all the way up the mid-back as you move like this. So this is a good way to get warm. But after you've done 5 or 6 of these on each side, the knees up version looks like this. We're going to have our hands down for support. We're going to bring both knees up like this, and we're just going to repeat allowing both knees to roll. And you'll see that I can get a lot further on each side which means that the rotation is traveling further up my spine, right up almost to where my shoulder blades are. Now, I appreciate this is a bit of a harder exercise, so if this isn't easy for you or you don't feel safe doing it, then make sure you just do the first version where you keep your feet down on the floor. But this is a very nice way to warm up the lower back and to reduce pain and stiffness in the morning. So now we've done that, we're going to change positions to an on all fours position. We can still do this from a bed, so don't worry if your bed is quite soft. It should still work quite well. So what I'd like you to do here is transition to this kind of position. I'm going to get rid of the pillow so it's not in the way, and we're going to move on to an exercise called the cat-cow. And the cat-cow is really common in yoga and Pilates. It's a great exercise again for loosening up the lower back and the mid-back, but it also works you in flexion and extension rather than just rotation. So the cat-cow looks like this. You're going to have your knees underneath your hips and your arms and wrists underneath your shoulders. So you're like a table. And the first thing we're going to do is, I believe it's the cow, which is where we go down like this. So we're doing neck going down to look between your knees. You're going to grow your shoulders towards the ceiling, and we're going to tuck our pelvis underneath us. So we should end up in this kind of inverted U position. There should be a big hump on my back at the moment, and then we're going to go into the opposite. So we're going to go into the proper U, and this I believe is the cat. So this is where we bring the bottom up in the air, we roll the pelvis, we should be getting a bit of a sag on the lower back, we lift the head and the shoulder blades come together. So again, we're going to go back down into the cow. So drop the neck, grow towards the ceiling, round the back, tuck the pelvis underneath us, and then go back into the cat, the happy cat, I guess. Someone's stroking its tail, so you lift your tail up into the air, you're going to let your back just sag and bring the shoulder blades together. Now you can see here that this isn't just a spinal exercise, this is actually an exercise that works your scapula, which is your shoulder blade area, and it also works the muscles in the pelvis to allow the pelvis to rotate. Now, if you're one of the many people who has a problem with your wrists, you can put fists down onto the bed. That's absolutely fine. It doesn't hinder the exercise at all. And if you're finding this quite difficult, you might find it easier to give yourself a bit of a wider gap between your hands and your knees. So you can just widen that gap out a little bit. It means the movement is now a little bit smaller, which could mean that you're finding it a little bit easier. But if you want more of a stretch, you can do the opposite. So you can bring your hands much closer to your knees. So there's only a very small gap. I'm going to test myself here. I've just got about a foot of a gap there. And we're going to go into a really tight cow, like this, growing tall towards the ceiling. And then a tight cat going down like this. Okay, so that is much more of a stretch. It's a really good way to progress this mobility work. So after you've been doing the normal way for a while, you can transition to doing it like this for a bit more of a challenge. We're doing this for about 2 minutes in the morning. It's a fantastic way to start to build some mobility back into your spine, your shoulder blades, and your pelvis. Now we're going to move on to another exercise, and this is called thread the needle. And we're going to do this exercise again from the same position. This is a wonderful exercise for rotation of the spine and the muscles around the shoulder blades as well. So we're going to go back into our first cat-cow position. So we've got our knees underneath our hips and our wrists underneath our shoulders. And the exercise looks like this. We're going to work one side at a time. So I'm going to work my left side first. I'm going to thread the needle underneath my right arm, and I'm going to reach as far as I can towards the camera here with my arm underneath me. And you can see my back now has to rotate as well. Once I feel like I can't go any further, I come back, plant the hand, and then thread the needle with the other side. So we're going to thread the needle through there like this. And I'm trying to feel a stretch between my shoulder blades, but also some rotation happening in my back as well, my mid-back really. So again, we're going to thread the needle through here like this, and then come back, and then thread the needle through the other side like this. Now this is a really nice exercise to get you started. If you wanted to progress this, the way you would do so is by threading the needle just as we discussed, And then as you come back, you're going to rotate up before coming back down. Okay, so that's more of an advanced way of doing it. So we're going to thread the needle down like this. And then as we come back, we're going to rotate up before coming back down. I'll show you one more time. So thread the needle here, as far as you can, then rotate up and come back down. And again, thread the needle here, and then add that rotational element at the top. Now, if you wanted to increase the stretch on your shoulder, because you've got a stiff shoulder like me, the way you would progress the thread the needle exercise is to come down, right down onto your shoulder, and just use the bed as a bit of support to allow you to get a better stretch on your shoulder blade and scapular muscles. So you can hold that for a couple of seconds, come back round, and again thread down. This time we're going to go down onto the shoulder, just put a little bit of weight down into it, and then come back to normal. Now, I wouldn't recommend that if you have shoulder problems or if you have problems with your neck. Sometimes that can aggravate it too. Just stick with the first couple of variations and you'll get much better mobility as a result. So now we've done the bed part of the exercises, I'm going to get you swiveling round and sitting on the edge of your bed for the final exercise. And this exercise is a brilliant way to loosen up stiff hips and to improve hip mobility in the mornings. This is called the Glutely Stretch in sitting. And what we're going to do is come right to the edge of the bed just so you're perched. Ideally, you want both feet flat on the floor with a 90-degree angle here and here. And we're going to bring one leg up to rest it on the top of the thigh here and just allow that knee to drop outwards. I'm going to have this hand on top here, and this hand can just hold the ankle just to support it. Next thing we're going to do is sit up tall, and instantly I can start to feel a stretch now in my hip. You're going to allow that knee to rotate outwards, just allow it to fall, and then if you can, you're just going to keep the back straight and gently lean forward as if you're trying to get your chest to touch your knee. Once you feel the stretch, you're going to hold for 30 seconds and then bring it back to normal and swap sides. You're going to drop this one back down, bring this one up, hold the shin here, rest the hand on top, allow the knee to drop, keep the back straight and forward lean. You'll probably find that one side is tighter than the other when you do this. And 30 seconds is enough to get a serious change. You're going to improve your lateral rotation in your hips by stretching out the glutes and the piriformis. And once you've done one, I would recommend just doing another one on each side just to finish off, and then you're ready to tackle the day. And hopefully that will have tackled some of your morning stiffness so you can get moving a lot easier, a lot quicker. So that's my 10-minute gentle mobility routine that can be done by people in the morning before they get out of bed. I hope that video has been useful for you. If it has, do drop a comment below and let me know that you enjoyed it. And if you want to get more from me, you can pick up a copy of my book. It's called Thriving Beyond 50, and there's loads more info inside that can show you how to regain and maintain your mobility in your 50s and beyond. You can find that on Amazon using the link below. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll speak to you on the next video.